Good evening, everyone. My name is Vernisha Jones, and I am the president of the West Garfield Park Youth Council, representing Fathers Who Care. And we believe that we are the solution to the issues in our community. Our theme is Nothing With Us, Without Us. Fathers Who Care is a nonprofit organization located on the west side of Chicago within the West Garfield Park community. Again, everyone, my name is Vernisha Jones, and I am the president of the West Garfield Park Youth Council. The West Garfield Park Youth Council is comprised of young people from our community whose focus and concern is youth leadership and a voice within the community to reduce senseless violence and illegal substance use. We invite people from all over, especially our young people, to come in and see what we're all about. Our show will be scheduled every Thursday at 7 p.m. Again, that is every Thursday at 7 p.m. You can also view us online at www.cantv.org/live. Again, that is www.cantv.org/live. Well, everyone, I would like to introduce my guest. He may be familiar to some people and may not be to some others, but I would like to introduce my guest this evening, Mr. Koby Lotton.
Thank you. Thank you. Hello.
Thank you for being a guest on my show tonight. Again, I'm Vernisha, as you guys may know, the president of the West Garfield Park Youth Council, and you are watching a live interactive program brought to you by CanTV 21. During the next 25 minutes, we are going to discuss young people making a difference and becoming future change agents, as you was talking about just out there. So you ready for some questions?
Absolutely.
Okay. Koby, can you let our audience know who is Koby? Like Koby, I don't want you to start off with what you do for a living or what you got going on. I want you to let us know who is Koby and what is your purpose for existing.
So let me just start by first, I'm Koby with the K, just so everybody knows. Koby starts with the K. But beyond that, I am a father. I am a student. Again, I'm an agent for change. Mm-hmm. And I'm an activist. I'm a man of many hats. But most of all, I can say I am a God-fearing man. So everything that I do, it starts with God and, prayer and just making sure I am following the steps that he ordered me. And that's pretty much, that's the why. That's why I exist. The things I can say, when I'm not consulting him and I'm doing the things that I want, I don't necessarily exceed to the point where I should. When I'm following his path and the word that he gives me, I can see how well I excel.
Okay. And so you let them know how old you was, right?
No.
Because y'all ain't gonna, once y'all hear everything that he got going on, y'all not gonna believe his age. So actually, I don't want you to tell. Should you?
We wait to the end.
Okay.
Don't forget.
Everybody try to guess his age. Okay. Can you explain to our audience? Because I didn't say it, but Koby is a part of the National Certified Kingin, yeah. Kingin, I did it, yes. Kingin, and also he's an ambassador of peace. Can you let everybody know what is this? Like, what's going on?
Absolutely. So, it all started back in my freshman year of high school, the second semester. I was actually trained in Kingian nonviolence, Martin Luther King Day, 2017. So that was January 15, 2017. Mm-hmm. I went through the initial 8-hour training just to get the foundation or the base, right, of what nonviolent practices look like, whether it's peace circles, nonviolent communication, or whether it be just restorative conversations, just how to handle conflict on an everyday basis. And from there, it just extended to the next step, right? Mm-hmm. So it started in high school, but then once I got the knowledge and learned that it wasn't just, a tool, but it was a practice, right? It was something that I was able to embody and not only practice at school, but take it home to my family. And now that I'm, a little older and out of high school, I'm able to practice it with my students at work. I'm able to practice it with my children. And even just like at times with like my parents, I just like, look, that wasn't right, just think about the different things. Just that conversation and level of, like I said, it's an embodiment, it's a practice and not just a tool of, trying to solve conflict or whatnot. So just being an ambassador of peace, that's what I'm doing now. Just make sure we pushing for change and make sure we insert love and kindness and not just ensuring the absence of violence, if that makes sense.
Okay. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Also, you just said you with your kids. I know you have kids of your own, and I don't think you let them know exactly what it is you do for a living.
Right.
But that's kind of like, that's still another thing where I'm saying, like, the age is like. So can you let them know what it is you do for a living, Koby?
Absolutely. So
and it's okay when we call you Koby or you Mr. Lofton?
No,
Koby.
Okay, I like Koby.
Cool. Okay,
I be telling them at work, telling my kids, I'm, again, Koby with a K, all right?
Koby.
So my 9 to 5, my everyday job, I wake up and I go to North Lawndale College Prep High School. NLCP is also the same high school in which I graduated from, where this all started. So in full circle, coming back as a behavior specialist, just really focusing on that restorative part and maximizing that in-class time with scholars, and how do we restore conversation or have restorative conversations with other scholars or even the adults, or sometimes we're all human. Sometimes the adults even make a mistake and I have to step in and say, hey, this is where you went wrong, or this is what you're not hearing, and understanding that there's an unmet need or needs that need to be met for adults as well as kids, and that just because you have a title, that doesn't mean everybody else is shut out.
And it's good that you went back into the same school that you went to school at to go do work at, and also the simple fact of you being so young, they don't know your age, but the simple fact of you being so young and understanding how young people think, and you going back into the work field to let it be known how young people think, because like we said, a lot of times young people feel like they're not being heard or they don't have people that understand what they're going through. And so it's really respectable that you went back to do work in the same community, in the same high school, that you went and you experienced exactly what was going on.
Yeah, not being heard is a big trigger for me. If you not trying, it's a difference between listening to respond, and if you just responding to me and you're not actually hearing my words, then we have a problem. And that's just what I try to get everybody to understand. Just when you listen, understand that it's not just for you to, like I said, respond. It's for you to actually hear the things that I'm saying, and how do you deliver on my unmet needs, if that makes sense.
That makes a lot of sense to me. To me, it makes a lot of sense.
As long as it makes sense, that's all that matters.
Okay, our next question. Oftentimes, when your name is come up, it's youth activists behind it.
Okay.
Can you give me a little bit more detail? I think I know a youth activist, but for our audience that don't know what youth activist is, can you let us know, what is it that you do? Why is it attached to your name? What's going on, Koby?
Because if you know me, my whole niche is just how do we get kids at the table? How do we get the youth at the table? And it's not, and I can't say that it's by mistake. It's absolutely not. Everything that I do is very intentional. And from the moment on when I was a scholar in high school, I was that kid that was going to raise their hand. I was that kid that was, not afraid to participate in class. Just being that example for others who may not know how to speak, right, or articulate. So now that I'm, a little bit older, my goal is just to always give that person who may not know what to say, or that person who may feel like they don't have a voice, to ensure that, hey, you should be heard. You should be given the opportunity to sit at this table, and you should be able to see the outcome of what it is when you are heard. Because oftentimes we have these conversations and it's we leaving a youth excluded from that conversation.
And it's about them.
And it's about the youth. So how do we progress if they're not a part of that progression, if that makes sense? So we have to get them a part of that conversation. Otherwise, we're just, I don't know the right saying for it, but we're not doing it right. It's just that simple.
You're not doing it right, because at the end of the day, you're making decisions for people that's not there. So you can't get if they're going to agree to it, if they're going to be willing to do it. So it's you have to make sure they're in the room to at least have the say-so of what's going on with their future.
They have to engage, absolutely.
Also, I wanted to know, why are you so committed? I feel like you answered this question, but I don't know why. I feel like you got some more to say about it. But I wanted to know, why are you so committed in helping young people? I know it's because, you went to the same school, but in general, because you do work outside of North Lawndale. So I want to know, why do you feel like you're so committed? Outside of it being that you're young yourself, why do you feel like what pushed you? Was it something that happened in your life or something like that pushed you to want to be an activist, to work for young people?
So I've always had that that drive to be a leader. I've always had that drive to excel at anything that I do, right?
Yeah.
So at this moment in my life, it's just like, how do I bring everyone else along with me, right? So when I was 14, 15, I had the opportunity to travel 27 states, over 150 cities, right? And that was just, it was all for free. My mom didn't have to come out of pocket for a single dime, not for lunch, not for travel, gas, anything. So it was a great experience, and we don't necessarily see that those type of opportunities come often for our young boys, our young girls, whatever. So it's just about, how do we give them that opportunity, because there's more than just the west side of Chicago. There's more than social media. There's more than content creators, rappers, singers, models. Like, it's more to it. Not saying that, it's not okay to be those things, but understanding that if you don't fall in line with those things, where else can I go? So giving them that exposure and, that experience to say, I did that, or I saw that. It is just like, okay, I know I can do that. Or if I'm setting that example, if he can do it, I know that I can do it. And just constantly being with them along the way, showing them how to do it. And I think that's pretty much, that's it. As long as I have someone by my side to say, all right, once I'm ready to move on to the next step, you can feel my place, and making sure that's a continuous cycle of keeping the young people involved, engaged, and making decisions.
Okay. And so how do you plan to better the West Side? Like, what are some things that you have done or you are attempting to do to push the narrative of trying to better our young people and make it a more safer, funner place for our young people on the West Side?
I guess it's going to sound repetitive, but it all revolves around that experience. This previous weekend, June 8th, me and four other of my fellows, we put on this community carnival, and we called it the Summertime Shot Kickoff. And with this carnival, we had absolutely everything free, and hence the name Summertime Shot Kickoff. So we wanted to bring that real, back when, 2016, before everything started to go downhill, and that was like the best summer.
Time.
You hear me? That was the best summer.
Yes, it was.
Just bringing back the different memories from that. So we had free snow cones, we had free lotes, we had free tacos, free games, right on Chicago Avenue in Lockwood.
Really?
It's the pop course, and we just a gaming truck. Everything was free for the entire community. We had resources out there, and we just wanted to provide that experience to kick off the summer. Like, hey guys, we can have this fun. We can have all things under the sun. However, we have to make sure we keeping it peaceful, and make sure that the common goal is that safe summer, right? So our biggest thing was, like I said, kicking off the summer non-violent. And by the end of the carnival, so many people were just like, oh man, you guys did an amazing job, and just expressing their appreciation for the feeling that they felt. My sister, for example, she posted on her social media like, man, I don't even know where my son was the entire time, and not on a negligent way, but it was so much to do, so many kids around, and even the adults. We had police presence, so the vibes around, it was, like I said, it was on Chicago Avenue in Lockwood. So knowing from where we grew up, and knowing how it looked, you wouldn't dare. When I was out canvassing, preparing for the event, I gave one of the community members a flyer and was like, oh, you wouldn't dare catch me and my kids out on no Chicago Avenue and Lockwood. Like, excuse me, I understand, but at least give us a chance.
Yeah.
So just to see that we hit that, we accomplished the goal of a peaceful event, no drama, all good vibes, and still being able to have fun. And that was just the goal. And I feel like that one event, and just looking back at all the pictures and all the videos and everything, that is what community should look like. That is what community wants. And that's what I'm willing to give community, if that makes sense.
Okay. And so speaking of giving, what are your future goals? Like, what do you have? What's in the works for Mr. Koby?
Like I said, I'm a God-fearing man, so I can't necessarily say what I'm planning on. I can say...
Just go with the flow.
I wouldn't even say go with the flow. I know I have the vision, right?
Okay.
I just want to make sure I'm following every step and not jumping the gun or anything, and making sure that, like I said, I'm following every step that God orders for me. But that future may consist politics. That future may consist just community work, starting nonprofits, whatever the case may be. But don't count me out. I'm coming.
I was finna say, I got my first picture with the mayor.
I'm coming. When I do come, you better understand.
I got my first picture with the mayor.
It's right here for sure.
That's what's up. That's what's up. And speaking, like, as you clearly see, he's a young person. Tell him your age. Just tell him. I feel like it's about that time.
I'm 22. I'll be 23 next month, July 7th. So if y'all want to send me some things, I don't turn anything down.
Period. But I love the fact he's 22 years old and you have so much going for yourself.
Thank you
have
so
so
much.
much in the works. And the fact, like I said, you're in the high school working. And then it's like you in the high school working and it's like you ain't stopped there. You ain't like, I want to work in the high school and this is what I want to do for the rest of my life. You got your goals is just continuing to grow. And I really applaud you for that.
Thank you.
From the last time, and I see the growth from the last time you was on the TV show with us. I applaud you.
I appreciate that.
I really applaud you.
I really appreciate it.
Can you tell our audience about your background and what inspired you? Well, just tell our audience about your background because we talked about what inspired you to want to do the work.
I don't know. What you want to know? I pretty much...
I think you really did.
Yeah.
Pretty much told me about your background.
It all, like, my whole...
You from the West Side?
I'm from the West Side. I grew up...
What elementary school you went to?
So I went to Julius C. Lathrop. It is not a elementary school anymore.
Okay.
They closed it after my 4th grade year, so I don't even know what year that was, to be honest. If I graduated 8th grade in 2016, so that was like 4 years before that.
You graduated 8th grade in 2016? Oh, yeah, you is a little bit younger than me. I was like, 2016, I graduated high school in 2015.
Yeah, you was right around there with my older sister, so yeah.
Okay. I feel like we don't even need to answer that question because we talked about, for the most part, our couple of questions was about your background and about why you love the work that you do.
Absolutely.
Many may know, but you're graduating from the Community Leadership Fellows soon.
Mm-hmm.
What's up?
So coming up, June 25th, we'll actually be at it used to be the Sears Tower, but I guess the new name is like not even that one. Not the one downtown. The Hood Sears Tower.
Sears Tower?
Yeah, the one on
Harlem?
On Holman and, what's that? Holman and Arthington. It's called the Nichols Tower or whatever.
It was called the Sears Tower?
Yeah. It was the original Sears Tower.
Really?
Yeah.
You learn something new every day. I didn't know that. And we used to have our office used to be in that building.
That tall tower that you can't miss from the expressway of nowhere, right off Holman. You'll know it when you see it. It's the tallest
It's not the one across from the fountain and stuff. No, it's not a police station.
Yeah.
That's it?
DRW and all that, yeah.
I ain't know. Okay, you learn something new every day.
You're going to be on the 14th floor, so I'll be graduating along with my 15 fellows.
Okay.
And you'll have an amazing view because we'll be on the 14th floor. But just to tell you a little bit about what Community Leadership Fellows is, basically, I was chosen, and like I said, along with everyone else, we were handpicked out, interviewed, had to go through intensive street cred check to prove not only what we've done, because black and white, you have that, but when you have that lived experience and have other people who can talk on your behalf, now that is real leadership, So they make us get about 4 to 6 people on a Zoom call to just discuss those challenges, things that you've overcome, positive things as well. And it's just over a course of a year, we have different workshops, different practices, different conversations. They give us opportunities to meet new people, all type of things. And the goal is to just develop your personal self as a leader, whether it be you want to take it to your career, whether you want to take it. A lot of the things that I've learned have been some mental things, because as a leader, you have to be able to navigate your feelings and be able to navigate your emotions. So having those workshops it helped me become a better person as well. So over the course of this last year, like I said, having those workshops, we've come to a conclusion, I guess you can say. And the event that we had this past weekend was actually our capstone project, which I think, again, went very well. So shout out to my guys and gals who helped make this event possible. And now it's time for us to graduate. And even beyond graduation, Community Leadership Fellows, which is, again, CLF, they have this 5-year plan set out for after graduation, how they help you continuously, develop yourself, develop your career, and put you in positions where you can continuously grow.
Okay, and with this fellows group, how do it come about? Is it something that people could willingly try to get a part of? Like, how did you actually get involved in it?
So last year, I'm not afraid to tell this story at any moment because, like I said, I'm a God-fearing man. So last year, I was fired from the post office April 10th. April 12th, I was invited to the first annual Gun Violence Prevention Conference. And that is where, I stood up and I'm not afraid to use my voice. I asked a question and it had drawn in so many different people. And I had come across Aisha Oliver, who then introduced me to Alexandra August, who was like, hey, I want you to apply to this program. So it's a selection. If you want to apply, you can go to clfellows.org, and then it'll give you a rundown of all the previous fellows and the current fellows, which is this year. And then it'll tell you the application process. So the application process closes April 30th. So it won't be back open again until next year, which will be the following cohort. Mm-hmm. So right now we're at that moment where we're selecting, which is even another plus to it, right? Not only do they select people from the West Side, but each year they give the fellows the opportunity to vote and select who the incoming fellows are. So it's constantly building community. And the best way I like to look at it and how I think of it is it's like a fraternity without college, right? Because you have all these different people doing all these different things. However, we coming together for one common goal, and that's community. So yeah, that's what CLF is all about.
Okay. I love to hear that, and I love to hear the fact that it's just a organization on the west side of Chicago that's allowing is it all African American?
No, it's literally anybody from the west side of Chicago.
Okay, that's even better. Okay, I see we getting down to our last couple of minutes. I told you the time was going to go back super fast with these questions.
That's good conversation, right?
Yes, I know, right? Also, is there anything going on, like any activities coming up, any programs going on that you know about that our young people could be involved in if they need to know? For the summertime coming up, I know me personally, you could think about it. Me personally, we have our drop-in program, which is a program for our young people between the ages of 13 through 24. We're open between Monday through Friday from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. It's just an open space for our young people to come in and, have a safe space. If you need help with homework, obviously you won't need help with homework right now, but just if you need somebody to talk to and just any type of advice, if we can't give it to you, we always have references.
I don't have anything. The only thing I can say is definitely just check in with your neighborhood resources or neighborhood alderman's office, whatever the case may be, to just get those weekly newsletters or whatever. Okay. Because that is where you will know the different things. Juneteenth is coming up. It's so many different Juneteenth activities going around the West Side and just Chicago in general. So just see how you can get involved and again, be community. That's what I can leave you with.
Okay, and that was just what I was going to ask you. Why you keep on reading my mind? I was going to ask you if it was any last minute things that you would like to tell our audience. Any quote that you have heard of that you go by, or anything that we like to leave our show off with, just something to give of motivation for our young people or anyone watching.
Absolutely. I don't know who it's unknown because I've done my research of where this quote come from, and nobody on Safari can tell me. But aspire to inspire before you expire. And to me, right?
Aspire
to inspire before you expire.
I'm going to have to get that one from you.
So basically just be everything you can to leave some type of legacy before you clock.
I like that. Mine was the sky's the limit. But I like that one. I like that one. I like that one. Okay, if you're just now tuning in, our guest on tonight's show is Mr. Koby Lotton, and we are discussing young people making a difference and becoming future change agents. I want to thank you so much for being a guest on my show tonight, because today he had such a busy day and he made time for me. So I really appreciate that, and I really appreciate all the work that you got going on. And I would just like to thank everyone for watching, and you can tune in next week, same time, same station. And also, you can reach us at 773-287-5821. Again, that number is 773-287-5821. That is the number to our organization if you need any information. And also, if you need any information about anything that he said on the show today, you can reach out to us and I will get any information you need. Or if you want to leave any
No, you can just send it straight to me.
Reach out to me and I'll let him know and I'll reach out to you. Thank you so much, everyone. Same time, same station next week.
Next week. See ya.